Good evening. Happy Wednesday to you. I'm looking at my monitor. I think I've gone live. Fingers crossed. Now, we only do these lives every month. I kind of forget in between how to do them. But there are some of you there I can see. So I'm hoping you can see and hear me as well. I'm just going to wait for a comment to come in to make sure that I am loud and clear. Mr. G should be monitoring things from downstairs as well. So we're in December already. Hi, Steph. Congratulations on your win, Steph, as well for this for November, the November challenge. I've got the challenge jars in front of me so that we can pick our prompts for December. And fingers crossed, I really hope that we've found a way of sorting out the album for the challenge, but I also will do what April suggested as well, so that when I post the challenge tomorrow, probably, if you put entries and attach it to that post as well, then hopefully we'll be able to keep track of each other's entries, because I know you all like to see what everyone else has been making. So fingers crossed, we'll get there. But thank you for taking part. Thank you, Mr. G. Hello, Jane, lovely. Donna, Dawn. Oh, great to see you all. So, who's got the Christmas decorations up already? Not me. I haven't. I'm a good few weeks away from that. I'm opening the advent calendar and eating the chocolate, but the house is still covered in dust. I don't know if you'll have seen a newsletter from the other week where we are finally sorting out our garage conversion. So everything, as always, I've got stock piled up everywhere because we've been clearing that space to get it sorted, dust everywhere, and I'm just hoping we get it sorted out this week. That's my watch talking to me. I'm hoping we get it sorted this weekend, so at least we can get the house some semblance of normality for Christmas. So yeah, I'm a long way off the decorations. Oh, Mrs. Sparkle Donna's got hers up already. Multicoloured lights. I wouldn't expect anything less, Donna, of course. Good on you, Steph. It's too early for decorations. Dawn, for goodness sake, you're far too festive. In fact, everyone down our street has got all the lights up and everything, and I always feel like we look like the kind of bar humbug house. You're going to put them up this weekend, Karen? No, I don't know. It just still feels a bit early for me, but we could do some festive cheer, couldn't we? And that's what really this evening's about. We're going to pick our challenge for December, so that if you have any time to be creative over the next few weeks, then you'll have something that you can do. We'll have a look at our release, the products that we've put on the shop today, because they are very, very cool. I'm hoping to have a bit of a play with them. And I had a long chat with my lovely friend Amanda from Highlight Crafts this morning. We were chatting away, and we were talking about how cool it is when you're able to use what's on your desk and get creative with just what's in front of you. Because sometimes if we look at, through all the cupboards in our craft room, we get overwhelmed with choices. So I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the items that I put together for the Sunday YouTube video, because it was all still here on the table, and I'm going to use that with the new stamps and see what we can come up with this evening. So just try and keep it really manageable, really simple. And I'm sure I've got other things I want to talk to you about. Hopefully those of you that get the newsletter, you'll have seen that I have reactivated the loyalty point scheme. So you've been able to, or some of you have, I know some of you have been having difficulties, but hopefully with the new website, we're back up and running. You've been able to spend your points balance, but you haven't been accruing additional points with your purchases. So I've reactivated the scheme so that you are now getting more points when you make a purchase, And to celebrate that, we've also got double points on your purchases between now and the end of Sunday. So if there's anything in the new collection or the restocks or anything you've had your eye on, then you'll get double points if you signed up for those. So that's back up and running as well. Oh yeah, I love Fairy Tale of New York. That is definitely Christmas, isn't it, Donna? Hi, Dawn. So yes, I wanted to tell you that this evening I thought what we'd do is two £15 credits as giveaways. What I'll do, because obviously I'm kind of chatting and doing all the things, is I will leave that open till the end of tomorrow, which is Thursday. I will announce the winners of those two £15 credits on Friday. So comment, let me know you're here, and get involved in the chat. And that's all you need to do to be part of that giveaway. Obviously, if you can like and share, that helps me enormously too. But don't worry too much about it. As long as you're here and taking part, that's all I really could ask of you. Oh, that you see, I don't really listen to the radio and that. So yeah, I miss all the kind of Christmas tunage. I don't know what James said that's made Donna laugh. But anyway, and I'm sure there are other things I want to tell you about. But let's get to the challenge and the products, and then I'm sure the things will come back to me as I'm chatting away with you. And it's just lovely to see you all, and thank you very much for being here. Right, let me turn this around. Oh, it just worked. Now I've checked my jars and I've checked my lids, because I have had problems in the past with having the wrong lid on the wrong jar and getting all in a confuddle about what the prompts are. So for those of you that are new to the Take 3 challenge, it's our monthly challenge in the Facebook group. And you can be, if you take part in it, you're in with a chance of winning a goodie bag worth at least £50. I pile loads of stuff in there. We try and have a challenge album where we can see all the entries, but as we know, we have mixed fortunes with that. And the Take 3 is basically 3 prompts. So we go for a colour, a theme, and a technique loosely. I always say, this is about an inspiration prompt. It's one where I like to feel that it gets you started. We can see where the inspirations come from, but I want you to enjoy the making process and not feel massively kind of, what's the word, challenged by the challenge. If that makes sense. So let's start with colour, and let's just hope that it being December I don't get purple. So let's see what our first thing is. Oh, palette 2. Oh, I've been waiting for palettes. So let's see. I've got 3 palettes that I had. Oh, it's bloody purple, isn't it? Excuse my language. So I've got some palettes that I'd made and got off Pinterest and printed out. And this one is number 2, as we can see. And it does have an unhealthy amount of purple in it. But it's quite a nice wintry colour palette, isn't it? With those cool minty greens and the purples and lilacs. It's quite a nice, I think that will work well for this time of year. So this is palette 2. I will put a picture of this palette up when I put the challenge post, just to remind you of what it is. Oh, I'll be excited about having a palette. Right, so that's our colour challenge. Theme. Let's see. I know, yeah, purple. Look at you all. Well, you better all be putting your purple entries in. Oh, did you put it? You didn't put it in the challenge though, Dawn, did you? You could have put that in. A tag. Theme. Is this theme? Bird. Yeah, thank you, Karen. Put the lid on. That was theme, wasn't it? Colour. Right, so we've got these colours and bird as our theme. So let's see what technique is. Crikey, I hope it's kind to us. I've got two there. Oh my tag. Oh, Dawn, you've missed it by a month. So you could just make a tag. You could put a tag on your card or project. You could have a project that just involves the tag in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't, the whole make doesn't have to be a tag, but as long as you incorporate some kind of a tag in it somewhere, then hopefully that will work for you. Hiya, Sam. You just switched over from Facebook. Is there not? I'm not sure if I see the comments on Facebook when they're coming out. I think I only see the YouTube comments on my feed on StreamYard, which is where I do my streaming through. So I can see I think I see the comments afterwards when I go onto Facebook, but I don't think I see them live. So I'm not. If you are on Facebook and I don't reply to a comment, please don't think I'm ignoring you on purpose. You didn't have what do you mean you didn't have water, Dawn? Surely, as craft supplies go, that shouldn't be too difficult. So tag, bird, and these beautiful colours. So there we go. Right. I'm hoping to see lots of fabulous makes in the group this month. Let's say you've got the month to be making. I'm sure you'll be able to find a little bit of downtime in the whole festive season to get something made. And the whole idea is we have a bit of fun, and it just when you want to be crafty, but you don't always necessarily have a purpose. And sometimes that Christmas period can be a bit of a lull because you've been busy making cards and doing all your pre-Christmas crafting. And then you get between Christmas and New Year, and it can be a little bit like, what should I do now? I'm just putting my jars away. And to that end, I should mention that I'm planning to launch a free 4-day course at some point in the next few weeks, which is all about taking your stencils to the next level. It's called Stencils Unlocked. And the idea is that you'll have a little video from me dropping into your inbox every day for 4 days, and we'll do some techniques together. And my aim for doing it at this time of year is exactly as I've just said. It gives you something creative just to in bite-sized chunks for those of you who maybe want a distraction or want something creative to be doing. So hopefully that will be launching in the next week or two. I say it is free. I think people will have to sign up to it because obviously it's dropping into your emails every day. But I'll tell you more about it when it's available. So yeah, I've been working hard on that. I'm really excited about it. I hope you like it too. Right, products. Tonight's products, they're all in the shop. And I know a number of you have been shopping ahead of me. I've kept it small. As you know, I've kind of stepped back from doing the kind of the big releases, and certainly the frequency of the big releases, partly to make it more manageable and fun for myself, and partly to give you that scope, that space to get creative with the products rather than feeling like, you know, there's always a new thing that just coming down the pipes at you. So I'm enjoying the new rhythm that we've got going, and being able to invest the time that isn't necessarily going into kind of sourcing and managing the product side of it, putting that into the YouTube videos and the blog and the free course and the other ways that I can share kind of some creative inspiration with you. So I think we're just about reaching a nice equilibrium point where I can still bring you new stuff that excites me and hopefully excites you, but it's not totally all absorbing, and I can be doing some of that other educational creative stuff alongside it. So hopefully you're finding that balance is working for all of us. But in terms of this month, I've got 3 new stencils. These are 3 8x8 stencils, meshed up, which is a really cool one actually. It's really, it's got a really nice movement in it because it's obviously not completely geometric and even lines, but it's got a nice pattern, and works really nicely on a gel plate and inked through. Fluid is a really cool one. This one, I think, because it has quite large open spaces in there, it's great for kind of doodling into and adding your own patterns or layering your stencils, as you've seen me do before, where if you kind of put a smaller pattern, combine it with this, you'll get really great textures on your cards. And this one, which is called Stuck Together. And the reason I called it that was I felt like it's kind of a wonky grid, but I felt like it looked like it had been stuck together with glue dots, which is just my head. That's what I called it, Stuck Together. So those 3 are all obviously in the shop as individual items, and I have put the 3 together as a 3 for 2 deal in the shop as well, and that will be available until Sunday. So you've got a bit of time to get the 3 for 2 deal if you like the look of all of them, or just shop the individual ones that appeal to you. So I'm really loving those actually. I'll show you some samples, things I've been making with them in a wee second. And then stamp wise, I've no digital download this month, but I will let you into a secret. I do have a paper pad coming in January. So I thought I'd give us a break from the digitals, and there'll be a new paper pad coming in January. So hello, I'm excited. It's due to arrive next week, so I can't wait to see it. For those of you that are getting paper withdrawal because you don't have printers, I thought I'd do a very occasional paper pad. So this one is a very, very cool A6 background stamp. I've called it typography. For those of you that know the back catalogue well, this is the design that went into our Alpha Medley embossing folder. And I thought it works just as well as a stamp. And again, different products work for different folk, don't they? So if you are a stamper rather than an embosser, this I think is a great versatile background design. You can stamp it this way as a continuous, but actually it's not seamless, as in you can't necessarily stamp it horizontally as a continuous. But to be honest, if you're using it for backgrounds, you can continue stamping along and it will give you that kind of background interest, because obviously, as you can see, it's quite a higgledy-piggledy design. I love this one though. You want to die to craft supplies? Oh no, new roof. Always, these expenses always come at this time of year, Nat, don't they? Oh, bless you. But yes, absolutely. It is to use what you have, and that's why I'm enjoying doing the YouTube and Instagram and the courses, because it's not always about buying new products. It's about feeling creative with what we have. So yeah, absolutely. I get where you're coming from. This is the other A6 background stamp, which is called Crackle, imaginatively. We had this as an A7, but I've got it scaled up. So as many of you will notice, I'm doing kind of journal pages and sometimes slightly larger projects. So it's nice to have a background that scales well with that kind of work. So these 2 A6s you can get together as a bundle, mini bundle, or as individuals, and they're very, very versatile. It's deliberately not a seasonal release, or particularly this is a kind of I'd call it a kind of essentials release, as in it's going to go with anything and everything that you already have. And then I've got these 2, which are kind of called film noir, because they've got a bit of a recurring film strip element to them. So we've got our film strip Alpha, and you'll see there's a negative, a slide, I'm not quite sure what you call the little frame, and a distress circle, and the letters all are size that they go in either or both of those. So if you want to create kind of a really striking headline sentiment, then you can be putting all your letters into the frames that are there, but they make great elements in their own right, and you don't need to put the letters in there either, but it's more options for you. And they've got a really great kind of brush stroke effect, a kind of dry brush, so it looks it's not a perfect impression, but it's a nice strong legible font. So duplicates, what, in the letters? Just so that if you were doing, is that what you mean, Jane? Hopefully. So yeah, I've done some duplicates. I've duplicated the vowels, and I duplicated some of the more common letters. So if you were wanting to put them onto a block as a single word, like happy, with the 2 P's in, you'd be able to do that. So for those of you that like to line your letters up and create a single word in one stamp, then where I had space on the plate, I tried to think about what are the letters you would want multiples of. So I've definitely multiplied or given you 2 of the vowels, and then I think it's just the P, S and T that I was able to squeeze on the bottom there. So yeah, it's really just to help people who like to have a single word on their block and they can stamp it in one go. That's a good question, actually. Fade Out is the other stamp set that we've released. It's an A6, and as I mentioned with the film strip, we've got a little film strip border. These are all quite distressed stamps. You can see this kind of like half-tone strip here is fading out at the edge. You've got like a notebook edge and this fabulous half-tone eye, which looks so cool when you stamp it. It's a really, really gorgeous stamp. So I'll show you that now. So that's all, and that's it for the December. So there's nothing else coming out from me now until we get into January. I'm conscious this is an expensive time of year, even if you don't have a leaky roof. So these are just here for those of you that want to kind of add them to your craft supplies, but honestly, you know, they're there as an optional for you for December. So let me show you some of the things I've been making with these products. So this is a sneak peek of the project I'm going to do with the Craft Collective for our Weekender workshop in January, which you may have seen me talking about or sharing online. And what I'm going to be doing for my session is I'm going to be doing a one-fold zine, which is an A3 sheet folded down to make a kind of a little magazine or art journal. And because of course this is all new. See you later, Karen. Thanks for popping in. I've been decorating it with the stencils and the stamps from this collection. So as you can see here, the eye in a clear pocket that's been created in the zine. We've got the fluid stencil here with black acrylic paint, which just looks so crisp, gives a fantastic look on the cardstock. So this is what I mean. To join in with the Weekender, you are not going to need these products. The purpose of my session will be to show you how to make this kind of holder and a zine format journal. You can use whatever you have to decorate both of them, but obviously because I've got these new products in my hands, that's what I use to decorate them. So it's a really fun and easy project to do, because to decorate the zine, because it's an A3 sheet, it's almost like kind of trying to decorate a masterboard and then folding it down to get the pages and create kind of find out what you're going to get when you fold it into individual pages. Plenty of space for tags, and I've been playing, as say, with these kind of clear tags as well. So I've got the film strip alpha there, has made the word yes that goes into that clear pocket. I put stamping on the back as well, which makes it a bit awkward. There we go. So that's one that I've been properly playing with the new collection on. I've also used the fluid stencil on some fabric to cover this journal that I'm going to be filling in December. So actually, this is got lots of stenciling on it. There's the fluid onto fabric. That's the Doodle Dots stencil. That's the noodle soup stencil and an older mesh style stencil, but the stuck together one would have worked well there too. So there you can see the stenciling onto fabrics that I've used to cover the journal. So I'm looking forward to filling that. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I made a really cute little concertina journal that goes in this vintage tin, and it just says create. So I've used the film strip alpha to do that, and also the stamps and stencils are all there in the background. The typography, the meshed up, etc., are all there to create that background effect. So yeah, it's a really cute little project, that, isn't it? So that's what I'm loving about it all, because it's quite a large alphabet, that, but I'm showing you projects that kind of go from that size to this size, and the products will work really well across both of them. And then a couple of journal spreads in this journal. So I've done this one in a nice fresh bluey green, and again you can see all of the stamping at the top there are all the elements from the that A6, and there's the eye. I just love the eye. It just creates such a great focal point. A bit of the typography stamp there. Remember, use it as a background and then cut it down and use it to add accents to your projects. Fluid in the background there. And then this is a journal page I've made with one of the acrylic paint backgrounds from this Sunday's YouTube video. So obviously wanting to use up those backgrounds that I that created on the Sunday make, the alphabet, the eye, and I love this eye on this one particularly because that's just a Distress ink background, and then I just added a bit of gesso over the spot that I wanted to stamp, and it almost kind of looks like it's a torn out piece of a newspaper or something, doesn't it? So yeah, it's really warm colours, but with the black grungy elements really kind of give it a bit of a grit and stop it being too sugary, I think. And then I think the last thing I've got on my desk is my very junky journal that's now getting way too full. I'm going to stop working in this one because it's not going to close. And this is just, I literally stamped the eye onto a piece of map, and here are the letters. So you can see this is a really loose, just scribbly couple of pages that I'd already got stuck down into my journal, but the eye really kind of pops off that black and white background. So there's what I've been making, and hopefully gives you a sense of kind of the versatility of the products, particularly obviously your backgrounds and your alphabet are those kind of things that are going to work for you in lots of different contexts. I just think the eye is a very cool focal point, but in terms of these kind of borders here and the crackle typography, you're just going to be able to use them as and when you feel like you want to add a bit of background interest alongside these stencils as well. So that's got you sorted for December, and I hope you like them. I hope they give you some ideas, and maybe there's something a bit unusual or that you wouldn't necessarily have seen before. I do try and kind of give you something a bit out the norm, and I know lots of you appreciate that. I'm just trying to balance everything on my trolley here, but it's looking very precarious. So if you hear a loud crash in a few seconds, you'll know that didn't work. Right, I'm clearing some of this off my desk, and then we can have a bit of a play, if that's okay with you guys. You see, I'm trying to be super speedy so that we can get some making done. I don't keep you all evening as well. I know I saw that comment, Donna. It did make me chuckle. I think it was these, wasn't it? It was these little abstracts, these little minis that I've been doing on Instagram, which have been really popular actually, and they're so lovely and easy to do. But yeah, I'm sure you commented and said, "Oh, I thought you'd really like these," and then realised it was you that had made it. Well, at least I'm consistent. So, what I thought I would do, and I said at the beginning of this evening, is when I was chatting with Amanda, I don't know if she's on this evening. She's not been feeling great, so she may not be watching live. We were talking about the fact that if we start trying to look for things, that can take, we almost lose our inspiration before we get back to the table, because we spend ages looking for stuff and then we get distracted, we kind of get overwhelmed by all the choices. And sometimes it's nice just to keep working with the scraps from previous projects that are still on our table, because it means we're not wasting anything, and also we're using what we can see. So hi Caroline, lovely. Hi Isabel. What do you love, Jane, sweetheart? Is it the minis? Because there have been Instagram reels that I've been doing, but I'm more than happy to do a video on the minis. They're really sweet and easy to make. What's your respite, Caroline? Oh, bless. Oh, well, I hope you're both keeping well and you're getting some rest as well. Oh, I don't need block capitals, Jane. I can see it. She's shouting at me now, everybody. Oh, Jane, the birds that have gone in the post today, just to let you know, I haven't forgotten, sweetheart. They have gone in the post to you today. So anyway, distracting myself terribly. I heard it. So this is one of the backgrounds that I made on the Sunday YouTube video. And the purpose of the video on Sunday was of different ways you can use your acrylic paints to get started, create something really playful, not be overly concerned with the end outcome, but just get your paints down in different ways, and maybe kind of think of ways of applying your paint that don't always involve a brush. This was one of the backgrounds I did. It's obviously got the meshed up stencil already in there, and it's got really kind of cool pinks and blues. So I thought, right, let's start with this for our journal page. And I've die cut 2 circles out of it, as you can see. And I thought what I'd do is, I've got the typography background here, stamped and heat embossed in white on vellum. As you know, one of my favorite ways of creating backgrounds. And I just like in my journal pages at the moment to have some elements that have a degree of transparency to them, because I think it adds interest and depth. Because your eye will be wanting to see through that and work out what's on the background behind. So I thought this would work well. And then I thought the other thing that would work in the top corner would be a gorgeous eye. Hopefully it fits in there okay. I think it does. So I think what I want to do is add a little bit of blue to that eye, a bit of eyeshadow to pull in that fabulous turquoise. And then we think about what's going to go behind this. So that if I add it to my journal with some washi tape down the side, for example, and make it a page that flips open, what is it that it's going to reveal, or what you're going to get hints of through this vellum here. So that's kind of where I started from, and I haven't really got much further than thinking that. other than I've also die cut 2 frames for my circles, just to give them a little bit more definition. It's fantastic. Just, you know, obviously if you've got nesting circle dies, that's what they're great for. It just really makes both of those apertures a little bit more defined and makes them pop. So let's get some of this stuck down, and then we can think about how we're going to build on that as a kind of first step. And that means I need my glue. There it is. We'll just do this really simple. And that's one thing, because as I was saying in my video on Sunday, it's quite nice to have a lot of, certainly when you're feeling kind of low on mojo, playing with colour, getting some backgrounds made is fantastic. Then of course you've got them. It's then the value is making sure you use them as well. I'm trying to think about the best way of applying this, because I was going to use it for a different project, which is why it's cut in a circle. So I want to make sure it sits in my aperture. So yeah, so it's great to have all these backgrounds, but then you do actually want to make sure that you get them back out and use them up. So that already is going to look great. So for example, here's a bit of that background that I'd cut up on the other journal page. And if we put it over a pink, you can see that kind of glow of pink appearing behind the white heat embossing. I do actually, this is a fabulous stamp for heat embossing and then blending over with your distress inks or spritzing over with your sprays, because you'll get some really lovely effects with the resist from the emboss. There's lots of ways you can use it. Right, so I'm going to have my pink frame. This is so not one of my colour combinations. I don't know why I got reached for the kind of pinks and blues at the weekend. Oops. But I do really like it. I obviously was feeling the need for something bright. It's very grey and wet at the moment here, kind of just a bit cold. And because we're having the building work done, of course, it means there's lots of the doors are open the whole time. I've just been feeling chilly. So before I put this eye behind the aperture, let's give it some colour. Let's apply some makeup to it. I think this will work. I haven't tried it. I've been using the eye pretty much in black and white so far. But again, in the spirit of using what was on my desk, I had some peacock feathers distressing, which I thought would go nicely with the turquoise of the paint. I'm just going to smoosh that on my craft mat to one side. And get a brush. And hopefully I have more success applying the eyeshadow in distressing than I do myself. I'm not very good with makeup. Maybe it's maybe I went for the kind of the pinks and blues, because I don't know, there's something about the half tone that kind of makes me think of kind of an 80s vibe. But it could just be because I'm watching Stranger Things at the moment. Are you all watching that? I do like Stranger Things. Mr. G watched all of the series again before this one started. I must admit I didn't bother. I left him to that. How's that looking? Oh, that looks nice on the screen. So obviously I've stamped this with the VersaFine, which is kind kind of water resistant colour, so water resistant ink, so it's not moving when I apply the distress. I think that gives it a really cool look. Carol Ann, you've never seen Stranger Things? No. Well, there you go. There's your Christmas project. So I think that just gives it a little bit of interest. You've never seen it either, Selena. What's going on here? I don't know. I don't know what channel it's on. I'll have to ask Mr. G what channel it's on. I'm not allowed to use the remote control in our house, so I couldn't tell you. I will add information about Stranger Things when I put the Take 3 challenge up on the Facebook group. I am very surprised that you've not been watching that, everybody. So look how this hopefully is going to pop now, because we've got the colour again just echoing that teal. And all I did with this circle, I had no cardstock that matched, so I just painted some white cardstock with that teal paint to make sure I got a good colour match. So I think that's going to work quite nicely. Let's check whether this circle is going to overlap. I might just get away with it. I didn't want it intruding on this space here, because obviously it will it would be seen through the vellum. I think it must be on Netflix here, Isabel, as well. Do you watch it? Am I a minority of one here? You have to wait to. No, there's 5 series. You can watch it. Mr. G's watched it literally in a couple of months, binge watching it, all the past series. But I think Donna means it's been out. It's been at least 2 years that the series has been running. If you were watching it in real time. Right. Let's see. Does that look okay there? No, that circle should be a bit bigger, but it is what it is. I think it works. And I've got just a little bit of overhang there. Do you know, I've not watched that though, the Addams Family thing. So if you watch Stranger Things, I'll watch that. Deal. So I'll put that on, and I think I really like that. I think that works nicely. I'm not very good with horror either, Steph, but it's not too horror. It's not one of those sinister, where things get really, really creepy. It's more of a kind of monsters jumping about. I've become a bit blasé because Mr. G's made me watch all of The Walking Dead, so I've become quite attuned to zombies. So maybe I've built up a higher tolerance. Was it good? Oh, you've got me intrigued now, ladies. So I think that's looking good. What I have done ahead of time as well is I've spelt out spy. I spy. See? Oh yeah, I spend days thinking of these things. I think that, but what I'm thinking, you see, I'm trying to create that kind of connection between the 2 circles, so they don't just look plonk there. I want to find some way of taking your eye around And I just thought that would be quite a nice way. And this is also going to be a way now of me introducing a little bit of black and white to kind of start to, as I was saying with that other journal spread, stops it just being too sugary, because I'm not somebody who typically goes for a pretty or pastel color palette. So I'm wanting to start bringing in a bit of kind of darker tones to kind of neutralize some of those softer colors. So I'll put Spy there. You don't have Netflix, Steph. I don't think we could exist in our house without Netflix. I don't really watch any terrestrial TV, though. I don't watch any of the kind of Celebrity Jungle or dancing ones or anything. We just typically tend to watch kind of American series on Netflix and the like. You laugh at horror, Selena. That makes me laugh. You laugh in the face of horror. So, Spy. So I've got that there. And I think what I want to do is put some black around the edge, just blending, just to pull that in. But let's start thinking about, because we've added our vellum element to this layer, if I just put it over a white piece of card, that's going to get a bit lost. These letters here, no, I'm not planning on putting colour on them, but I am wanting to put colour behind them. So that's what I was saying, they'll get lost if the page beneath is just plain white. So I'm thinking we're going to want to have, and I can decide whether, for example, whether I do it as a hinged page, so I could put washi down the side and have this as a page that opens up so the whole of it will be visible, or I could adhere this over the base layer and just really work on having a background that's going to show through this space, not over the whole not of the whole page, if that makes sense. So because these were all created in the same session, these backgrounds, so I know I've used the same pinks in here as here, so I know that those things are going to work nicely together. So that, I think, will work well. But if I decide, if this is going to be a hinge, if I am going to want to be able to open this up, then I won't want to leave this side of the page just blank, because that will be a bit meh. So let's put some stenciling on here before we add the pink, and then see whether, I'm tempted to put the crackle stamp on this in teal, because I think that will give some subtle texture but won't necessarily fight too much with the letters. This is making sense in my head. Bear with me. Now, what have I done with my stencils? Oh, well, I've got the mesh here, but have I got fluid? I'll have to get it out of the packet. Let's get fluid out, and I think because we've used mesh on the front, I don't want to use it again on the next layer. I might do if I was doing it just for me, but I just want to show you the different stencil designs in action. So you absolutely could use mesh on this layer as well, and the two pages would tie together. But let's do something else, so we've got a bit of a compare and contrast for you. And I'm only really going to be worried about pulling the pattern across this far if I know I'm going to have a band of cardstock here. Does that make sense? What's bonkers? Yeah, oh gosh, that happens to us. Certainly when the boys are home, we spend hours scrolling through Netflix or, Prime or whatever various streaming platforms, and everyone's given up by the time we actually, we never make a choice. drives me potty. So I've got some black acrylic paint here. Could use black ink as well, but this would be a nice quick way of getting coverage over this stencil. So I'm going to use it with, actually that's dried up, with a foam dauber. So using a foam tool, ink blending tool that you would typically see or use with inks, but I'm going to apply acrylic paint through this. The reason being is this is a quick way of applicating the paint. You could use, you often see me use a cosmetic sponge and kind of dabbing that through, but because I want fairly quick coverage over a large area, I find that if I load up my blending tool, and I am just going to try and hold this in place, so I apologise in advance. You can see how if you just skim that blending tool over the top of the stencil, you can get that coverage really quickly, particularly when there were quite large open spaces, which would take a little bit of time if you were doing the kind of the pouncing. Now the risk of this is we might get a bit of bleeding underneath the stencil, so I am trying to skim the blending tool over the top rather than pushing it in and just hoping it catches the paper, and keeping it moving and not having too much paint loaded onto the blending tool to start with. So you can see there that it's given us a nice, fairly crisp. Let me hold up. There's a little bit, very slight little bit of minor bleeding there, which when I was doing, where have I put that now? Here. For example, when I was doing this is a different stencil, but it's a large open one, and I was having I had a little bit of bleed. All I did, because I was going back in and doodling with the white gel pen, was I just used it almost like Tipp-Ex and went over some of those slightly rougher edges with the white gel pen. Because it's on a white background, you can't then really see anywhere where there's any bleeding. So as long as you've not been too heavy-handed and you've not squished it, you'll get a really nice effect really quickly over larger areas like I've just done there. It's a really striking stencil, that, isn't it? It's a really cool effect. So, of course, actually looks quite nice under there, but I'm not worrying here too much, because if I'm going to flip this open, it's going to give me something quite dramatic to look at. But because there's no open apertures on this side of the page, then that layer will hide it, and we can now work on what's going to be visible through our vellum window. Oh yes, Only Murders is a good one. That does make me laugh, Donna. I like that one. So I don't want this to be quite so big, I don't think. Although it's quite a big aperture. I can take a little bit off though. I don't necessarily want it to be half and half, but at the moment this is maybe going a bit too far onto the page. But what a lovely contrast between that black and the pink. Let's take a little bit off this edge here. So I'm just using a metal ruler and tearing, and I haven't measured anything. You could absolutely tidy that edge up and trim it if you were wanting a neater finish. Or you could add some black ink down it to highlight the decal. Lots of things you could do. Of course, it's too long as well, isn't it? So I'm just eyeballing everything tonight, because as we know, perfectionism is overrated. There we go. I will trim that bottom off with the scissors if it's going over the bottom of the page, but for now, it will give us an idea. So let's put some crackle on here. Actually, then this would be good with some black and white washi tape. Oh no, what would work great on here is, if I've got any of it, is the little bits of offcuts of the alphabet. So different bits that I've kept, which I thought that will go nicely. So we can bring a bit of black and white in here that will tally with the vellum window. It's using the recurring motifs that will help it feel cohesive, even if you're going from one page to the next. So we've got those. That's good. Let's add some crackle with the turquoise, and then I'll shut up. Was it good? I haven't read the book or watched the films, but I do like Glass Onion though. Yes, they make me laugh. The Glass Onion films are good. Yeah, I haven't read the Thursday Murder Club. It's on my list. I like to read things before I watch them if I can. Right. We ought to turn this into a monthly book club, shouldn't we? Book and film reviews. Right, here we go. Got a big acrylic block. Now, the one downside of using acrylic paint for our backgrounds is if you then stamp on it with ink other than archival, that ink will take a very long time to dry. Sometimes it doesn't seem to dry at all. So the best way of ensuring you don't then kind of just smear it all is to heat set it, in my opinion. So you can absolutely stamp onto an acrylic painted background, but unless you're using archival, you may need then to heat set to make sure it's in place. So what I'm going to do, keeping with my pink and my turquoise colour combo, is I'm going to use the Warm Breeze from VersaFine. This should probably be quite a subtle effect on the pink. So I'm not going for black for our crackle. I am going for quite a whimsical turquoise. But it gave me nice contrast on the top layer, so I'm hoping even on the crackle it should work nicely. So if I go like this, and then we'll continue it along. Oh yes, it is a nice contrast. I've already got my stamp dirty, so I can't quite see where I've inked it with this turquoise. I try very loosely to line these up. It's obviously not seamless, but it's a crackle, so I think I'm too far over there. Oh no, it's okay. That'll do me. Also looks like the leaf veins, doesn't it, as well? If you did it, if you stamped it or white heat embossed it and then went over it with kind of green watercolor, I think it would look like a segment of a leaf. I have to do that. So I like that as it's just added a bit of interest to that background. I'll very quickly heat set it with clear. So sometimes the heat embossing kind of annoys me, because if I'm going for quite a grungy look, I don't want the gloss of the embossing powder. But Wow do a dull matte embossing powder, so you can seal your line art but not have that same shine on it. I'm saying that I can't find mine at the moment, so I'm using gloss here, but it is something to bear in mind if you want to kind of do something like this, but you're reluctant to kind of add a glossy finish to your stamping, you can find a matte version. Just like to know where mine's gone, of course. Oops. Get this corner done. Right, well, I'm obviously behind the curve on the Thursday Murder Club, so when we next get together in January, I've got to watch all the Wednesday Addams and read the Thursday Murder Club. Yes, I know what you mean, Donna. I know what I can't. Is it called Angel Hair? Is it Angel Fibre? Angelina something? I'm not sure. Bear with me 1 second. I apologise for the noise from the gun. There you go. So that just really gives me the opportunity to kind of fix it. I really like that. It's unusual, isn't it? It's not the colour combo that you'd expect to see a crackle in. So I'm just going to kind of lay some bits together here, trying to avoid this big blob of black paint that I've managed to give myself on my mat. But I'll trim this down a little bit so it fits nicely on the page. I will add some of these elements here. I could even create a strip that goes down here, but I think I might just add a bit of black ink to that. But I think I definitely will add these in the white and in the black, just to give me a carry through to the layer that's going to be sitting above it, which will be our window. And I don't know if you can see, it'll be quite subtle, but you can just see now some touches of the turquoise from the crackle coming through that vellum window. And if I then use some black and white washi tape to kind of hinge these two together, obviously have this stuck into my journal, it's going to give me kind of two really interesting journal pages. I will add words obviously to this as well, but I really like that strong graphic black and white with these softer colours that are just kind of echoing that top layer. And that's what I'm trying to kind of really convey. We use the same colour combination, but the black and white elements are more subtle on this layer, but more dominant on the second. But all of it should tie together because of those recurring motifs, the alphabets, the colours, and the black and white. I think will make it feel quite kind of cohesive. I think I've used that word now about 5 times. Cohesive is what I'm going for. So that hopefully that just gives you a bit of a feel for how you can work with these stamps and stencils. It doesn't have to be a journal page. It could be a card, could be a tag, thinking of our challenge for December, but really versatile. And I think the kind of backgrounds and edges and letters that will see you through quite a few different projects. So hopefully you like our drop this December. Hopefully you'll take part in the December Take 3 challenge. Look out for the free course that's going to be launching in the next week or two, and I certainly will obviously be sharing more information about that. What else did I need to say? Check out the Craft Collective weekend in January. I think that's everything, other than to wish you an amazing Christmas and New Year. I will be very much online, still sharing projects and ideas, but certainly you won't be seeing me with a live until January, and we'll be dropping some new products probably mid-month. Remember your double loyalty points. If you are thinking about investing in these new products, definitely try and get them before Sunday so you get the benefit of the double points. That's everything, I think. So wishing you all a very, very Merry Christmas for those of you that celebrate. Lots of company and lots of inspiration over these next few weeks if it's a time of year where you are wanting to be distracted. So hopefully we've got something for you as well. And yeah, relax, enjoy. I am going to, by the way, that's the other thing I need to say. I am going to stop shipping orders from Friday the 19th of December. So I'm actually going to take a week off over Christmas. I normally say that I'm going to be shipping throughout. You can still order, but I won't be shipping orders after Friday the 19th. I will, of course, remind you about that nearer to the time. So thank you for your company this evening. Thank you for all the book and film recommendations. And make sure that you have a calm and restful festive season. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you, as always, for spending a bit of a Wednesday evening with me. Bye for now.